Tonight, a major winter storm is set to hit Saskatchewan. City Council hears from dozens of delegations regarding the budget. The man behind a well-known Regina lights display passes away.
Live from our studios in Regina, this is CTV News.
Good evening. Get those snow shovels ready. The first big storm is set to hit Saskatchewan tomorrow, with some areas projected to see blizzard-like conditions. With more, we go to Sabine Ahmed in our weather center tonight. So, Sabine, there's been a lot of talk about this storm. How big could it be?
Well, depending on where you are in the province, Lee, some areas could see over 40 centimeters of snow between now into Friday. Now, if we're just focused on what's to come between Wednesday and Thursday morning, even then, some areas could see up to 25 centimeters of snow. On the board behind me on our radar satellite, we're seeing a number of watches and warnings. In effect, the orange, that is the blizzard warning. So we're going to see many areas dealing with high wind gusts up to about 80 kilometers an hour. Snow, like I mentioned, for most areas, 10 to 20 centimeters of snow. Locally projecting some higher areas. I'll show you more of that when we get into our forecast. Down in the southwest, we have wind warnings. Wind gusts up to 110 kilometers an hour expected in that area. And down in the southwest, we are still seeing some winter storm watches. So could essentially start to see more of those blizzard warnings come into that area as well. But when it's all said and done, Lee, we could see whiteout conditions as we head into tomorrow as well. So if you don't have to do any long form driving, anything in the highway, or really if you don't need to leave the house tomorrow's probably the perfect day to stay home, work from home if you don't need to be out. Temperatures actually won't be very drastic. We're going to see temperatures actually warmer than seasonal, but right behind this clipper by Thursday is an Arctic air mass where we will see those temperatures drop drastically, and that will actually happen by tomorrow night. We're also going to see some freezing rain in that mix. I'll talk all about that coming up in your full forecast. Lee?
All right, more details in weather in about 20 minutes' time. Now, as Saskatchewan does brace for this major winter storm, crews across the province are also preparing for what could be a messy and dangerous day tomorrow. CTV's Laura Woodward has more.
It's the calm before the storm as central and southern Saskatchewan brace for an Alberta clipper.
Definitely, this looks like a really potent weather system, likely the strongest of the season so far.
Environment Canada is warning of snow, strong winds, and areas of freezing rain.
The one area that will get spared from more of the snow will be the southwest corner of the province, but they're likely to see the highest wind gusts, possibility of over 100 kilometer per hour wind gusts down there. So potential power outages.
Sask Power says it's fully prepared to respond to outages that may occur from the storm. Restorations may take longer if conditions are unsafe for our crews to work in. The heaviest snow is forecast southeast of Saskatoon, including areas along Highway 16 where visibility could be limited. Saskatoon Transit says it may adjust certain routes, warning some buses could be delayed as conditions worsen. Both Saskatoon and Regina are getting their arsenal of equipment ready.
Equipment such as the snow plows, graders, blowers, payloaders, sanders, those types of things. We also have approximately 100 or so staff of our own that are ready to go.
While the winter storm is expected to move out of Saskatchewan and into Manitoba by Thursday, the winter weather is unfortunately far from over. A blast of Arctic air is expected to move in shortly after the blizzard, with it bringing a sharp drop in temperatures. Laura Woodward, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Another news, city budget deliberations continue at Henry Baker Hall. More than 80 delegates are speaking over the past few days of discussions as a heavy tax increase is debated by councillors. Donovan May says more on what
Regina Civic Workers Union says the city is now paying for past transgressions.
You can go back to what I'll term is like the original sin of Pat Fiacco, starting to put in like 0% mill rate years.
The union believes years of previous cuts on the council floor have led Regina to a 15.69% forecasted mill rate increase just to maintain the services it currently provides. But Cantello says it should go even further.
Cities need to provide more for their residents, not less. That 18%, the 18.93% increase is a vote for Regina.
But not everyone is on board.
You're going to put people on the street. End of story.
Other organizations say the forecasted tax hike is unsustainable.
Everything's going up. Everybody wants a piece of the pie. Well, there's no more pie to get. And you're looking at borrowing money from the taxpayers.
While local business advocates say an increase of this magnitude could be catastrophic.
You're putting that risk now on the businesses to have to survive that potential tax hike.
What's a reasonable mill rate do you think you could handle commercially?
I think I suggested probably between 5 and 5.5%.
Yet the recognition vibrancy comes at a cost.
So you do support keeping those within our budget, even if it means a higher rate?
If it is aimed at downtown vibrancy, we're all in.
More than 80 delegates speaking in person in front of council over the first 2 days of deliberations, with an additional 160 written submissions as well. Councillors will now trudge into the depths of budget debate with 139 budget reduction options potentially on the table. Donovan May, CTV News, Regina.
A woman is in hospital with life-threatening injuries after getting struck by a vehicle this morning in Regina. Police were called to Crest Street near the Longman Crescent intersection around 7:40 a.m. Officers determined a pickup truck struck the female pedestrian walking on Crest Street. The driver immediately called 911. The area was closed to traffic for several hours. Police do continue to investigate. The NDP has renewed its call for an investigation into foreign farmland ownership in the province. The appeal is being made to newly appointed Agriculture Minister David Merritt, who is in his second go-around in that position. The NDP is echoing producer concerns that illegal transactions could slip past the government's review process. The previous minister said there is no evidence to support that claim. The NDP hope the new minister will take a different approach.
We're calling on this minister and this premier to finally step up and act against illegal foreign farmland ownership. We're calling specifically for them to launch an independent public inquiry to get into to the bottom of this issue.
The government says a review by the provincial auditor found no instances of unauthorized foreign ownership of farmland and that appropriate safeguards are in place. University of Regina students have officially approved the U of R Students Association taking over the student body's main representative group. In a statement late this afternoon, URSA said it has won an independently held 4-day referendum to take over student governments from the now defunct U of R Students Union with 91% in favor among voters. URSU was dissolved back in October following a string of serious issues, including allegations that the organization misappropriated funds. Its replacement says it will begin the process of filling its general counsel and entering into negotiations with the university over student issues in 2026. A potential break-in at the water facility in Outlook has caused a local emergency in that town. Hallie Madrick has the story.
The town of Outlook is currently in a state of local emergency as residents have been without water for more than 24 hours.
It's been crazy. You don't know how much you appreciate having running water until you don't have it.
It's because of a potential break-in at the town's treated water reservoir. According to RCMP, an unknown individual or individuals broke a lock at the facility in the early hours of Monday morning. RCMP say they continue to investigate and, quote, it has not been determined whether the suspect or suspects entered the outbuilding or that anything was stolen or tampered with. But town officials aren't taking any chances.
So all those things, they add up together and can be quite frustrating. That said, we're very appreciative of the people in town who are looking out for their neighbors. They realize that we can't fix this overnight.
Maintenance crews are currently in the process of removing the compromised water and sanitizing the reservoir. In the meantime, the residents of Outlook are remaining positive among the uncertainty.
Pretty good so far, yeah, upbeat, but like we know it's only a few days, so we'll get through it, yeah.
It's kind of ridiculous that we've come to this, but people are working together, pitching in, and helping each other out when they need to, so that's been nice to see.
The town is providing residents with water jugs as it works to resolve the issue, and community members are instructed not to use the water for any purposes or attempt to treat the water themselves.
Everybody's positive, everybody thinks, the water is going to come pretty soon. Everybody has been helpful, there's been resources to the town, so we're just grateful.
There is no exact time as to when the community's water will be back to normal. However, officials have expressed that it will take a few more days at the earliest. Investigators say anyone who witnessed suspicious activity in the area is asked to contact police or Crime Stoppers. Hallie Mandrick, CTV News, Outlook.
People in Regina are offering their condolences to the Allen family during a difficult time after the sudden passing of Trevor Allen. Sierra D'Souza Butts has more on the man that was behind the famous light display and his lasting impact to people in that community.
Through his light display, Trevor Allen has brought joy to thousands of onlookers every year in Regina's Lake Ridge neighborhood.
It's been a hit for the last probably 5-6 years that I've been here, and there's so many cars that come and look at the display, and they line up on the street and then they take turns and going down.
Now, these lights are part of his legacy, leaving bright and colorful memories for his family, friends, and neighbors. According to an update from his family, Allen died on December 12th. Now, support for the family is pouring in during an incredibly difficult time.
I feel for the family going through this at Christmas time, and I hope that everybody rallies around them and helps them out in any way they can.
Allen was the architect of the Allen family lights, according to the memorial's social media post by his family. Since 2018, he's put on festive light displays with over 72,000 LED bulbs, whether it was to mark Christmas, Halloween, or even Remembrance Day, which he started doing to pay respects during COVID-19 shutdowns.
Down the highway of heroes.
They sent me a picture and a beautiful message to go along with it, so the response is excellent, and just getting those messages is why I do it. So,
on the family's social media page, his daughter says he was a man who loved bringing joy to people, whether through the light show or endless projects, adding he always encouraged everyone to try new things and explore their creativity. The Regina International Airport also shared their sympathy, stating Trevor Allen was an exceptional person. He was a pillar of the organization. His presence, leadership, and compassion made a lasting impact on all of us. Trevor's legacy will live on through his family as his daughter plans on continuing the Allen family lights display in the years ahead. Sierra D'Souza Butts, CTV News, Regina.
While many people still have a ways to go to finish their Christmas shopping, this year some Canadians are choosing to spend more on experiences over physical gifts. Stacey Hine has more on the reasons why.
Christmas shopping is in full swing, but some gifts won't be placed under the Christmas tree. After surveying 1,000 Canadians nationwide, real estate services firm JLL found more people are choosing to spend more on experience and entertainment gifts and less on material goods than in previous years. Here in Saskatoon, some residents say experience gifts leave a lasting impression.
My parents did bring me to a play at the Barn Playhouse as part of my Christmas gift, and that was a great experience, so love that.
I prefer an experience gift, I think, because I think sometimes we get caught up in materialistic stuff.
Others say they've mostly stuck with physical gifts.
It's mostly been physical gifts. I try to do the experience ones for my nephews more.
But no, I haven't, but it's something I would certainly consider, or I wouldn't mind getting.
The JLL report also found respondents plan to spend, on average, more than a third of their Christmas budget on experience and entertainment gifts. JLL says after years of spending on material goods following the pandemic, more Canadians are turning to experiences they find more rewarding.
People have done a lot of spending coming out of COVID on fashion items. They've done a lot of spending on their homes. More and more people are seeing the opportunity to get that intrinsic reward for their consumer spending.
Experience gifts can include everything from cooking classes and local entertainment to movie passes.
So the experience is really customized for what that person wants to go and enjoy and the type of experience they want to have.
They can also mean a local getaway, like a stay at Blackstrap Glamping Resort.
And it's a gift of an experience. You get to experience the nature in Saskatchewan and a different sort of rental accommodations that people normally might not think about.
But But whether it's a gift or an experience, what matters most is the thought behind it. Stacey Hine, CTV News, Saskatoon.
After the break, ISIS is linked to the anti-Semitic attack in Australia. And a group of Canadians, including 6 MPs, are denied access into the West Bank.
Greetings, everyone. In 2019, the Mackenzie Art Gallery was gifted a special collection of artwork containing more than 1,000 pieces, all created by Indigenous artists. Now a portion of that collection is on display in the gallery for the next several years, with pieces selected to explore Indigenous ideas of life and death and the connections between the two. Indigenous artworks exploring transitions between space, place, and time are now on display at the Mackenzie Art Gallery. More than 200 pieces collected from across North America make up the exhibit titled Death Boat and Other Stories.
Just the difference of different artworks, the different styles, the craftsmanship, the beauty of the stories are all open to interpretation if they want, or they can ask someone and be educated on what it is.
Edmonton collectors Thomas Drouin and Alice Ladner began acquiring Indigenous art in 1992, eventually amassing more than 1,000 pieces. This collection became known as the Campbell-Macker Collection. Death Boat and Other Stories are selections from this collection. The pieces on display all range in art styles and age, with some pieces being more than 100 years old.
We don't consider artworks from the past as artifacts per se. They're still artworks. They're still telling a story. Even if they're tourist works, I've shown some of those too because they also have their importance.
A major focus of the collection was finding exquisite pieces from lesser-known artists and getting them into galleries. There are a number of recurring themes throughout the collection, including supernatural beings, animals, depictions of customary practices, and Indigenous worldviews. Some of the oldest pieces are not attributed to anyone, but questions to when and where they came from have been answered.
We can identify the nations, but we don't know how old. We did have an expert come in and identify that they're very old. We do have another beadwork piece like over here, so they're little Anishinaabe birds, and they are like 1898, 1903.
In 2016, a portion of the collection was first exhibited in Regina, and 3 years later the collection was officially gifted to the Mackenzie Art Gallery. Death Boat and Other Stories is scheduled to be shown until May 2027. If you have a story you would like to see in this segment, here's how to reach us. You can contact me by email, and you can also watch past episodes and segments of Indigenous Circle on our CTV Regina and CTV Saskatoon websites.
Indigenous Circle, brought to you in part by Saskatchewan Indigenous Enterprise Foundation, growing the First Nation entrepreneurial spirit.
Investigators have linked the terrorist attack targeting Australia's Jewish community to ISIS. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese says the father and son suspects were influenced by the Islamic State. CTV's Judy Trin takes a closer look at what evidence has emerged.
Before the mass shooting began, dashcam video reveals how a couple confronted one of the Bondi Beach attackers. They tried to wrestle away his gun. Boris Gurman and his wife Sophia were among the 15 people killed.
It would appear that there is evidence that this was inspired by a terrorist organisation, by ISIS.
Homemade Islamic State flags were visible in the suspect's car. Authorities also found improvised explosive devices in the vehicle. 50-year-old Sajid Akram was killed by police. His 24-year-old son was also shot and in hospital. Police say father and son traveled to the Philippines in November and are trying to find out why.
Specifically, who were they interacting with in Mindanao, which is known to be an ISIS stronghold. In fact, ISIS had tried to carve out an independent state there some years ago. Still known to be active, still doing training there. Who exactly were these two individuals from Australia interacting with there?
The Akram's home in a Sydney suburb was searched. Police said the father, Sajid, had licenses for 6 firearms. Australian media is reporting that his son, Naveed, was investigated in 2019 for ties to an ISIS cell, but deemed a non-threat. Meanwhile, a menorah lights up Sydney's Opera House as grief grows at a memorial on Bondi Beach. 2 rabbis and a Holocaust survivor are among the dead. The youngest victim was a 10-year-old girl named Matilda.
Matilda's mother called me and say, Matilda died. And I couldn't even repeat this word at the time. I say, what? What? I asked her many times. I was thinking it's bad reception. I don't hear something well. And afterward, I start screaming.
There are growing anti-Semitic incidents across the globe. A Canadian intelligence assessment done after the Bondi Beach attack found that there is no credible threat to Jewish holiday events in this country. But a violent act by lone actors is a possibility. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
A delegation of 30 Canadians, including 6 members of parliament, was barred by Israeli border authorities from entering the West Bank today from Jordan. The group says it had planned to meet with Palestinians in the occupied territory. CTV's Annie Bergeron-Oliver has the details.
It was here at the Allenby crossing that the Canadian delegation waited for hours, only to be told by Israeli border agents they could not enter the occupied West Bank.
We actually felt like criminals at the border, as if we are coming here to actually commit a crime.
The delegation, organized by the nonprofit, the Canadian Muslim Vote, intended to spend 3 days talking to refugees, aid groups, along with Muslim, Jewish, and Christian individuals in the West Bank. Instead, 30 people, including 6 MPs, 1 NDP, and 5 Liberals, were turned around, with 1 MP claiming she was pushed.
Frankly, I think it's insulting. I really do.
Liberal Faraz Al-Soud says he expected pushback, but never expected many in the group would be told to sign paperwork deeming them a risk to public safety and security.
They only gave us this very vague terminology of public security or public safety or public order considerations. And when we pried just a slight bit, they pushed back significantly, making it clear that they did not need to provide any reasoning.
The group has no intention on trying to cross again and says this rejection is part of a pattern by the Israeli government.
There's been a recent pattern of UN employees, of journalists, of humanitarians, and also parliamentarians from other countries, including the United Kingdom, that have been refused entry.
Israel's embassy to Canada says the delegation was denied entry because organizers have links to Islamic Relief Worldwide, which Israel considers a terror entity due to its alleged ties to Hamas, ties the aid group has denied. Annie Bergeron-Oliver, CTV News, Ottawa.
Elections Alberta has given the go-ahead for a petition on Alberta separation. Alberta's chief electoral officer approved a notice of intent from the Alberta Prosperity Project. The group had to reapply after the province put forward amendments to the Citizen Initiative Act earlier this month. They have until January 11 to apply for a petition that could lead to a referendum on separation. A rival petition by the Forever Canadian group has collected more than 450,000 signatures calling for Alberta to remain in Canada. Coming up, it's day 10 of the 12 Strays of Christmas. Tonight, we introduce you to a 3-year-old cat named Maze.
We're helping you with your Christmas shopping. Wednesday on Your Morning Lifestyle expert Rachel Node shows off some of the great last-minute gift ideas for your kids.
Welcome back. We're going to get right into what you can expect with this blizzard warning that we have seen taken into effect late this afternoon, but it's not actually making its way into the province until tomorrow. Currently, we're doing okay. We did start off with very warm temperatures, above seasonal temperatures very early this morning, and the temperature has gradually dropped since then. -11 is what we're sitting at, with a wind chill of about -16, and winds not too bad, just under 10 kilometers an hour. It was a different story this morning. Winds were gusting very high, and that will return as we head into tomorrow. So again, just to go over this color-coded map I have here, we've got extreme cold warnings up in the north where they can see wind chill values into the -45s for most of the week. We've got the orange, which is the blizzard warning. We could see high wind gusts, 70 to 80 kilometer an hour wind gusts. Snowfall, for the most part, 10 to 20 centimeters of snow. There's also some freezing rain chances in this mix as well. In the purple, right in that southwest, we're seeing wind warnings, which which we're seeing wind gusts up to about 110 kilometers an hour. And then in the shaded area in the southeast down there, we do have some winter storm watches right now. So no blizzard warnings just yet for the southeast. That could change as we head into tomorrow and we get a better understanding of which way this system is moving. So we're going to get right into what to expect. As we're heading into this evening, not a whole lot. We could see a little bit of scattered precipitation, especially in the southwest. They're mostly freezing rain, and then it's not until we get into tomorrow morning. Now, the only thing I do want to point out, we're going to start with rain. The darker shaded area, the darker that shading is, the heavier the rainfall, snowfall is going to be. So we're going to see that system turn to snow as we progress further into the province. We have the darker shading here again, basically implying that we could see moderate to heavy snowfall throughout the day in those areas. Same with the rainfall around Assiniboia. The darker the green, heavier rainfall in that particular area. This system will continue to make its way through, eventually just covering the province in snow. Late afternoon, still along the south, we're seeing that rain and freezing rain. But again, we're going to see these pockets of heavier to moderate snowfall around the Regina area, around the Parkland, mostly between the Trans-Canada and the Yellowhead Highway is where we're expecting to see the bulk of the snowfall. By the time we get into Thursday morning, hopefully we're seeing this entire Alberta Clipper clear out. Right behind it is an Arctic air mass. We're going to see those temperatures drop drastically. And then we have more snow returning. Again, pockets of heavier snowfall in and around the Regina area. And I only point this out because I do have some snowfall totals to show you. And I don't want you to get scared. But remember when I said in between the Trans-Canada and Yellowhead Highway, that's where we're seeing the bulk of that snowfall. The lighter the shading for this, the heavier the snowfall. So between Wednesday into Thursday, expecting up to 30 centimeters of snow for Regina. Could be in and around that area. I've looked at 4 different models here to look at this snowfall. And this is why I'm explaining this, because all snowfall models are showing differently. Some areas we're saying that Saskatoon could see up to 40, some suggesting the Parkland could see up to 40, and that's because of this lighter shading in here. So could be up to about 20 centimeters, but there are chances where we're going to see pockets that could see more snowfall. So this is between now into Friday. This is what we're expecting when everything is cleared out, because we will see more of that snow. Up to 42 centimeters expected in that map for the Regina area, but like I said, could be less than that, but that is the max that we're seeing just with that system coming through. Now, as I mentioned, temperatures not too bad heading into tomorrow, except the north, we're still seeing those extreme cold warnings. When we get more into the Saskatoon North Battlefield area, we're seeing back to seasonal, but again, heavier snowfall. Yorkton -9 tomorrow. The southwest, well above average. So we're seeing that mix of snow and rain. +7 for Maple Creek, +1 for Moose Jaw. Southeast, same story, above seasonal, above zero temperatures for Regina. -7, winds not too bad tonight, but tomorrow, warming up to -1, so warmer than seasonal temperatures. Winds picking up to about 50 kilometers an hour, and again, expecting snowfall throughout most of the day. The one thing I do want to point out for tomorrow again is that we will start out with rain and freezing rain. As we head into late afternoon into the evening, that's where the heaviest snowfall is expected, and the winds are expecting to pick up around 4 o'clock. So even if you can maybe head home a little early from your work day or wherever you happen to be, into the evening is we're expecting to be more of the blizzard-like conditions with heavy snowfall and high wind gusts. By the time we get into Thursday, though, -19. So cooler temperatures for a daytime high, mainly sunny. We saw the snow returning Friday. Winds back up to 60, -8 is the expected high. And then a cooler weekend ahead. A mix of sun and clouds Saturday, -21. -18, mainly sunny on Sunday. And as your week begins before Christmas, -13 Monday, and Tuesday, -15.
Day 10 of the 12 strays of Christmas, and if you're maybe looking for a bit of a shy guy when it comes to cats, we might have the one for you. We're going to introduce you to Maze right now, who is, well, looks like he's having some fun with, what is that, a pipe cleaner. Pipe cleaner, yes, of course, of course. So here is Maze. Was Maze named after, is it like puzzles, likes corn? What? That's just another one of the names that was given to him?
Yeah, I honestly don't know what the inspiration of his name was, but what I do know is that he is an absolute sweetheart, and he doesn't show very well because every time somebody comes by, he likes to go hide under his little bed, which is so sad because he is actually such a lovely and affectionate guy. He just doesn't show it right away, so you just have to have a little bit of patience, but I see it. And don't tell the other cats, but he's kind of my favorite. You're not showing very well again.
Okay, well,
show your handsome personality off.
You can admit that, Candace. Yeah, he wants away, Candace. So I think you were saying too, he just needs to earn. You got to earn his trust, so to speak. He's shy, but once he kind of gets to be around you, he'll open up a bit.
Absolutely. And I mean, this is my favorite type because you know that they trust you, and it's a really good feeling when they do. So just got to work for it a little, and it'll be worth it.
What kind of household do you think would be best for Maze to have a amazing time?
Oh my God, Lee. I think he would actually do okay really in any home. He's just going to need some time to settle in and get used to, the environment. Overall, when he knows you, he's a very easygoing cat. I mean, he's let me rub his belly. He just loves to be touched. He does kind of like to have little hidey holes, so I'd recommend some, cat. They're called kitty caves or kitty casas. Those are really nice too, so that he can have a little safe place to go. But honestly, I think if he's given time to settle in, he would do great really in any home, including one with cats. So, yeah.
You mentioned getting settled. I know with my 7-year-old at home, sometimes with our dog, he likes to get in the face a little bit, which would probably not be the best thing. But when you say get settled, what are kind of some things you can do for a cat to kind of maybe make them feel more comfortable if they're, getting used to things?
Yeah, for sure. So I always recommend kind of housing them in a smaller space. So pick things, like maybe your basement that's a little bit smaller, maybe a bedroom, where they can kind of just get used to the smells and the sounds of your house in a smaller space rather than being overwhelmed by the entire house. Some other things that you can do are, spending time with them quietly, letting them come to you and kind of get used to the space before you're kind of on them. Any children should be a slower introduction, right? Like kids should be coached through it, right? You don't want them to jump on the cat or the puppy or lay on them or those kinds of things. You just want to teach them patience and how to handle them appropriately, because animals can't say, please stop, or I'm uncomfortable with that. Usually it comes off a little bit more like a hiss or a swat, and people tend not to be super appreciative of that. So to prevent that, we need to listen to their body language. So as parents, we have to teach our children that. So yeah, that's what I'd recommend. And I mean, of course, lots of treats, lots of toys. Those are always handy as well.
Excellent, Candace. So if you are interested at home of maybe getting lost in this maze of fun with this cat, definitely go down to the Regina Humane Society and look at adoption. Candace, thanks for this.
Thank you.
12 Strays of Christmas brought to you by Flooring Superstore. Quality flooring at great prices.
Still ahead, the Saskatchewan Roughriders re-signed one of their Canadian players in the secondary.
Wardrobe consideration in part by Colin O'Brien Men's Shop.
Saskatchewan Roughriders have extended the contract of one of their Canadian defenders.
Outside of Montreal. Yeah, no, it's a good point. There's pressure and there's taken down.
Jayden Dalkey has agreed to a 1-year extension. He spent most of the 2025 season playing special teams, picking up 16 tackles, 13 of those on special teams. Drafted by the Riders in the 5th round of the 2022 CFL Draft, Dalkey has shown to be a reliable option since day one. Team also busy bringing in new faces from down south. They announced the signing of a receiver today.
The center still is rookie Michael Juergens. Ball looks to fade left side and back left of the end zone. Touchdown.
Malik Knowles, no relation to Beyonce, spent time with the NFL's Minnesota Vikings, Green Bay Packers, and San Francisco 49ers, although he never really saw regular season game action. In 5 seasons with Kansas State, he caught 14 touchdowns and scored on 3 kickoff returns. And some sad news for the Riders. A Canadian Football Hall of Fame and a member of the 1966 Grey Cup championship team has died. Jack Aubuchon played as both an offensive lineman and place kicker. Don't really see that these days for the Riders in the 60s and 70s. He played all 11 seasons his pro career in green and white. He actually briefly joined the NFL's Denver Broncos in 1968, but didn't make the roster, and then returned to the CFL, where he'd played another Grey Cup in 1972. He was, of course, inducted into the Canadian Football Hall of Fame back in 2012 and was a 5-time CFL All-Star during his career. Jack was 82. Moose Jaw Warriors look to snap their 6-game losing streak tonight as they host the Kelowna Rockets.
Up the ice, Bakash has a breakaway. How did he sneak behind the defense? He walks in and scores!
Rockets won both of their games so far against Saskatchewan teams, 8-5 in Regina on Saturday, 6-4 in Swift Current last Wednesday. Rockets are without first-round NHL draft pick Keaton Aginla, who is at World Junior Selection Camp right now. Game time at Temple Garden Center is 7 o'clock. And the best curlers in the world are in Saskatoon for the Grand Slam of Curling's Canadian Open. 32 teams are taking part, 16 men, 16 women's. Big names include reigning Scotties and Brier champions Rachel Homan and Brad Jacobs, who also will represent Canada at the upcoming Winter Games in Italy. Jacobs admits that while they're still riding high following that big Olympic curling trials victory, they're not looking ahead to the games just yet.
We have a couple competitions here obviously in Saskatoon and one in Steinbach in the new year. So to get some good competitive games in against the best teams in the world is always nice for preparation.
The Grand Slam of Curling here in Life Canadian Open runs through Sunday with the women's final to go at 11 a.m., the men's final at 3:30.
Still ahead, how food prices could impact your Christmas feast this year.
Welcome back. Let's take a look at your rural forecast heading into tomorrow. Same story for many parts, although you can actually see which way the blizzard is making its way through the province. Hudson Bay won't really see much of that. Still expecting cloudier conditions, sitting at -16 as the expected daytime high. And then we do have moderate to heavy snowfall and high winds expected for many parts of the province. Wynyard -12, -7 for Outlook, and -17 for Melfort. Expecting a little bit lighter snow in the Melfort area, but over in Spiritwood, -18 and -19 for Meadow Lake. Not really expecting snow, but cloudier conditions. Meanwhile, Lloydminster -14, heavy snowfall, -6 for Kindersley, snowfall there as well. The closer to the southern border, we're seeing some above seasonal, above zero temperatures, which is why we'll see that mixed precipitation coming through. Maple Creek +7 with a mix of snow and rain, +3 for Rockland, East End, Cypress, and for Assiniboia. -1 for Pilot Butte and Lumsden, seeing that snow there as well, and -13 for Kenora with snowfall continuing throughout the day. Many of these areas, like I said, expected to be under that blizzard warning. Hafford, located about 70 kilometers east of North Battleford, and also expecting snow tomorrow. As of right now, it looks like a total of about 10 centimeters expected for Hafford. -16 is the expected daytime high with a wind chill value of -28. Also seeing those high winds up to about 75, so expecting blizzard conditions throughout the day.
The news on food prices is getting more grim. Stats Canada says the cost of groceries was more than double the inflation rate last month, year over year. Jeff Keel has the details.
As grocery shoppers stock up for the holidays, they continue to deal with rising prices.
It's very hard to get by with the prices that are rising right now. We have to mix match what we can grab one month and what we can the other month.
The cost of food is extremely high. Like, everything's up.
Statistics Canada says grocery food inflation rose in November year over year by 4.7%, greatly outpacing the consumer inflation rate, which was 2.2%.
There are a few places at the grocery store that are safe places to go if you're on a tight budget, unfortunately.
Stats Can says fresh fruit, beef, and coffee were top contributors, in part because of shortages and bad weather.
Meat prices are staying high and not coming down at all.
So what does this mean for that holiday meal in December? Sylvain Charlebois, the director of the Agri-Food Analytics Lab at Dalhousie University, says the cost of ham, fruit, and veggies are on the rise, but there could be some good news with the main dish. He says some grocers are cutting the price of their turkeys to attract shoppers.
Turkeys have been used as loss leaders, really, to get you in there and buy other things that are a little bit more expensive, like cranberries, for example, potatoes, and other things you would need.
But Charlebois says as we head towards Christmas, deals on birds could be drying up. At Cantor's Meats, owner Ed Cantor says the ham price is stable this year, but the turkey is a bit more.
75 cents more a pound compared to last year.
Over the last couple of years, the higher prices have seen more people do potluck dinners to spread out the cost. The hosts we talked to say they're going to tough it out.
We're just going to try to do it ourselves this year.
You know, this happens once a year. Family comes in from out of the city. So, you know, we just try to have fun for the holidays.
Jeff Keel, CTV News, Lac du Bonnet.
Farm market boards, canola street price up 40 cents to $536.32 per ton, while the futures price is down $3.70 to $611.30 per ton. Street price for amber durum wheat, $282.27 per ton. Red spring wheat's up 52 cents to $241.70 per ton. Feed barley, $213.59 per ton, while flax is $626.04 per ton. Those prices courtesy from Bunge. Markets, TSX down 219 points, Dow Jones down 302 points, while the Canadian dollar, it went up a little bit, 0.09% to 72.71 cents U.S. On the commodity front, gold down $2.68. West Texas Intermediate crude down $1.55, while Western Canadian Select crude is down 55 cents. And gas in Regina dropped yesterday, remains at $1.24.9 cents per liter.
This is about a U.S. $20 billion all-stock deal between Anglo American and Teck Resources. As part of it, Anglo American has agreed to spend $4.5 billion in Canada over the next 5 years. It is also moving its global headquarters from London to Vancouver. Shareholders already approved the deal that creates a copper power producer. The new company will be called Anglo Teck. Canada's industry minister says Anglo's commitments are legally binding. The U.S. unemployment rate rose to 4.6% last month, the highest it's been since 2021. The release of the data was delayed by the government shutdown. The country gained 64,000 jobs in November, but lost over 100,000 in October. The price of oil sank just below U.S. $55 a barrel today, and that's the lowest West Texas Intermediate crude has been this year. In January, it was $80 a barrel. The move dragged oil stocks down today between 4% and 5%. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marilla Fernandez.
Coming up tonight after the newscast, we've got E-Talk, followed by Big Bang Theory, MasterChef Canada, and then Double the Traders Canada.
Double
Trader. Its arrival was long delayed, but the new subway stop at Rome's historic Colosseum is finally opened.
This is so cool. It's not just any transit stop. The museum-like station has 4 underground levels where riders and tourists can view archaeological treasures that were discovered during construction. Visitors will ascend through layers of the city's history, including ancient walls and wells, before catching a glimpse of the iconic Colosseum. Oh, that is the coolest thing and was definitely not there when I was there.
Nope.
That is cool. Canada Post says kids who write to Santa with their wish list will get a response this year.
All letters with the ho-ho-ho postal code that were mailed by December the 8th will be delivered. The Crown Corporation says it can't confirm exact delivery dates, but Santa will respond to each letter. More than 1 million letters delivered to and from the North Pole each year. Last Christmas, strike by postal workers meant St. Nick couldn't respond. But he did read each letter, apparently.
Yes, that he did.
So there's that.
Joke?
Yeah, oh yeah. I thought he said I was a joke. He wanted me to read the joke. Where is Santa's favorite place to deliver presents? Other than my house.
Somewhere where there's cookies, milk and cookies. A bakery.
Idaho, ho, ho.